Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 41 of the Talking with a Dad podcast this evening. Steve, who's our sponsors?
Not this bit again.
This happened a few weeks ago where you're like, man, I thought you were going to throw me the sponsors bit, and I wasn't prepared for that, and I kept that in the back of my mind for a callback. This is our Friday edition here. I don't know if you know what evening it is, now that we have two editions of the show. They're basically it's the same show, just on different days, but...
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I was looking at the metrics, and I want to say to our beautiful fans, I noticed that some of our newer traffic are people who aren't actually already subscribed to the channel. So if you're new, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and stick around for a while. Thank you for your continued support. Or Zach will come to your house, and he gets a little grabby when he's angry.
You cannot say that on the internet in this world's climate. I'm not running for political office, so it won't work. It won't work. Stevie, what kind of games have you been playing, man? So last week we had talked about hold on. We talked about the division, and we're done with it. We've done everything we pretty much can in the division, right? We've
started getting toxic at the end. We spent more time cursing at each other.
No, it didn't get toxic. Okay, a little bit, but not as much as I'm willing to admit.
That's like our threshold of playing games with each other. Like once we've beaten a game, like we should quit there and remain friends because then it turns
No, it's never that kind of argument. Never. No. I don't go I don't argue like that with people. I can't. I just don't have much fucking time in my day. But anyway.
What am I playing?
Yeah, what am I playing?
I'm actually playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Okay. Is that the newest one?
Yes, that is the latest one.
Well, other than Valhalla coming out end of this year, next year, whatever it is.
Yeah, and I gotta say, so I haven't played a game since Assassin's Creed game since what is it called, Black Flag?
That's the fourth one, I believe. So it's much different now. It's more of a traditional RPG now, from what I understand, than the linear story that was Assassin's Creed back in the day.
Yeah, and also the fighting mechanics are way better. So I was talking to Shane about it. So the standard for me with melee combat is God of War, right? God of War 2 to God of War 4, best melee combat you're going to see in any game.
So not Dark Souls.
No, absolutely.
Do you consider so God of War melee combat, do you consider Dark Souls a little bit different because it's more methodical and you have to think about every single thing you're doing?
It's in its own it's in its own category because there's a lot of, not saying there's not a lot of skill required to play God of War. Like there's some things with timing,
but it's more mindless than it is like
yes.
Dark Souls. You have to very much so pay attention to it.
Yeah, you have to have a plan laid out for how you're going to defeat your the enemy.
For sure.
But the fight mechanics in this, man, the little bit I've gotten to play of it, amazing.
Okay.
Looks amazing on the PC. I don't know how it looks on PlayStation. I've never checked it out, but worse. Hands down, bad.
23 and a half FPS. Disgusting.
Dude, and it's just something about when they do something authentically, and I'm usually not this guy, but in these things I kind of am. So the fact that they have, I don't know if they're real Greek voice actors, but people who can actually do a Greek accent, that goes a long way. I don't want to hear British people being Greeks, that's
sure. I could understand that for sure.
And also I like, there's one thing I'm not going to enjoy, and I can tell it's the step and fetch quests and stuff like that, where it's like, hey, you're this legendary warrior, by the way, go grab my pig. It was stolen by some bandits.
What happens in everything, for sure.
In every game. But otherwise than that, like, graphics are amazing. Story looks like it's going to be a great slow burn. So I'm looking forward to it.
Good. Okay.
Which means I probably won't be in the Discord for a little while. I got to really immerse myself.
Some games you need that, right? Yeah. Like I could sit and play like a Call of Duty or like a RuneScape or WoW or whatever for that. But like once the next Elder Scrolls comes out, I'm radio silent. On every other day, like other than podcast days, I'm radio silent because I want to sit, dark room, monitors on, only the one monitor. I'm gonna turn these other two monitors off, and it's just gonna be Elder Scrolls, and it's gonna be great. No, I'm kidding. I'll leave this one.
I got this image of that blue light over your eyes,
and it's just like shimmering. Like games like that though. There are certain games that like 100% you need like focus. You need, nothing else going on. No dogs running around, kids knocking shit over in the background, watching TV. Like you want, like that's like That's like it's like a movie, right?
Yeah.
Like movies are one of those things where, and for people who don't play video games, we originally started as a video game channel. I'm sure we've accumulated people who aren't gamers at this point. Games are a lot of times now are like movies where it's so immersive and you want to pay attention to the story and you grow to love these characters. If you guys don't believe me, go play The Last of Us. You grow to the first one, not the second one. You won't understand. You grow to love these characters, and it's just like a movie, a long, like really story driven TV show. Video games have come a long way from like the mindless, days of just wanting to do something else. It's like legitimately entertainment. It's a form of entertainment. It is a form of entertainment. I'm glad we went to the same direction there for sure.
And honestly, to piggyback on that is the fact that you have people like, at one point, I actually conjecture. You should put a conjecture sign, like opinion. I'm about to state right now here, but
we're an opinion show. We're not a fact show. We're labeled as comedy and everywhere. I don't know why. We're not funny, but
the crazy thing is, like, most of the best writers always went to not TV, to film, right?
Correct.
Back in the day, and now you have people who are really writing storyboards, great storyboards. I think people who probably wouldn't have gotten the chance otherwise to convey their talent in video games. Like it's amazing how far the industry's come. I was talking to a few people today at the school, and we were talking about streamers in regards to how video games are now, and like all this stuff. And my point that I was making was I went to go check out some of the Facebook streamers that came over from Mixer and like how that community is adjusting and stuff like that. And I gotta say, like, I couldn't really tell the difference, to be completely honest with you. Like, most of their followers have followed them over. It seems they still have that same ground level support. The two people I checked, this is not a comprehensive study, and that makes me happy, dude. You know what? It makes me happy because people are like following along, and the thing that's unifying these people in this community is like this game, which is usually an afterthought in the chat, right?
For sure,
the streamer is definitely the main attraction there.
Yeah, they're the flagship.
But watching people play, like seeing that people are still streaming Dark Souls 3 this many years later.
And the original Dark Souls, even, right? The Dark Souls remastered. Yes. It is an absolutely loved franchise. It's a cult classic among cult classics.
Yeah, I watched a dude streaming God of War 1. I don't even know what he was streaming it from. To be honest with you, like I didn't know. Like I'm like, he's probably right. He's probably running a mod because it did look a little choppy, but he's streaming and he had 400 other people.
Yeah.
Watching this with him, and I'm like, that's no number to scoff at. I mean, obviously comparatively to bigger streamers, but 400
is you could live on 400 viewers.
Yeah,
you could consistently, if you turn your stream on and within the first 30 minutes you have 400 people in there, you're probably a full-time streamer.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. You know what? I hope one day that people not take it seriously. People respect the craft a little bit more because
it's becoming respected, I think. It's definitely becoming respected. What I want is the stigma of having to stream 16 hours a day every day without taking breaks to be gone. That's what I want. I'm very vocal about that, but that's what I want. But streaming as a profession, as a career, I'm sure is going to be, it's respected already because the pioneers of an industry are always respected, whether it's after they're done or 1,000 years later or whatever it is. They're always respected. So people like Ninja and Shroud and these guys that have been streaming forever, Tim the Tatman is comes to mind. These guys will be the pioneers of the industry that made it huge and very very profitable.
I noticed you left one name out there.
He's not an OG.
He's not an OG.
Not at all.
What year did this person that shall not be named as of yet for dramatic reasons, his first video came out on YouTube?
2006 or something.
That's pretty. But
we're talking about streamers.
Oh,
I think we prefaced this with streamers, right? And I only named streamers. If we wanted to get into YouTubers, it's way different, right?
Wait,
I could go back to the OG YouTubers.
Are we talking about the same person?
Correct. Yeah.
Who are we talking about?
Doc.
I'm gonna let you take it away on this one, man. But I will say this.
With what? What? You're the Doc guy, man. I'm over this hype. I send you stuff. Well, you send me stuff. I don't even send you anything about Doc anymore. Yeah. But I'm over the hype, dude. I want to know what happened. I want to know what's going on. I want to know where his next platform is. I know he changed his link in the Twitter bio to his YouTube channel, but he did that a while ago. right? You know, if he's not allowed back on the platform of Twitch, then, you know, funnel your people to your YouTube channel.
But he's not going. He's not going on an exclusive contract, right? So he's
I don't think he can. As of right now, Twitch hasn't said anything about relinquishing his contract. He's contractually obligated to Twitch as his sole streaming platform, I believe. You know, actually, I have seen somewhere else that someone says he's free to stream on another platform because he was banned, but I don't know how true that is. I would need to see the fine print of the contract where it says, you know, upon banning or upon X amount of times getting, you know, a weekly ban instead of a permanent ban, you know, your contract is null and void, right? I'm sure there's some sort of thing in there with Twitch, and I'm sure that's how they got around paying him the multi-year exclusive contract that he had with Twitch. But at the moment, I don't think he's allowed to stream anywhere else. And that might not just be from Twitch, that also might be from his team of lawyers, I assume.
So interesting thing, like, again, we would have to see the contract. We'd have to break it down and really comprehensively go through that.
I would definitely look at it for sure.
You know what's really funny is that so he released that snippet on his Twitter, which has made it to his main YouTube page now. The video that's been dubbed, or the name of the song is actually "The Alley" or something like that.
He made it, I think, right?
Yeah, no, great production. One of the things that he says, one of the quotes that people are really hanging on to, is that he says, "It's out of my hands, but I'm still in control." I'm not that guy. I never played records. Records are vinyls. These things, they're made out of oil. Usually,
I know what they are.
Okay, all right. So I was never one of those guys that like spun a record backwards.
I have a note on this, by the way, but you keep going. Yeah.
Spin it, but
Dark Side of the Moon is what you're referring to, right?
Yeah.
If you play Dark Side of the Moon backwards, it has satanic images in it.
Yes, and there's a few other records. I think there's a Zeppelin one in there. It changes every 10 years or so. But you know, I'm not looking for the hidden meaning. So he actually but he actually released a statement. I believe it was he did a PC Gamer and also
Washington Post, I think, right?
Of all things. And interestingly enough, the Washington Post, the representation in there, I don't know if it was as heavily edited as people imply, but
it's very lawyery.
Yeah, they're known for that type of stuff. And essentially what he's saying is that, you know, there's some disagreement. He can't get into it right now, which makes sense. And you know, his lawyers are probably handling it, you know, on his behalf. And there's we don't know. Allegedly, there's $20 million hanging in the balance here. So the right thing to do is to allow your lawyers to handle this type of situation for you, because now it's not about whether or not he goes back. It's about whether or not he gets paid.
Right. This has become a money situation, and I had a conversation in one of my group chats that about this. So here's the quote. Right, they asked him, you know, what's the deal, and he said, honestly, we just don't know. It was a total shock. Imagine showing up to work, the doors are closed, and you just can't get inside. You're going, what's going on? And you've been told you've been fired, but you haven't been told the reason why. We just weren't given an answer. It was the worst feeling. Now, that statement to me is the biggest issue that I have with this interview, right? That is the direct quote. You could go on Washington Post website. I literally just Googled DrDisrespect, pulled up the Washington Post. It's one of their divisions called Launcher. It's their video game analysis, news and analysis subsection. Interview was released at 8 a.m. Eastern time yesterday, as the day of recordings would have been Thursday the 16th. You guys are more than welcome to go look it up. My issue is if you see the last few minutes of his last stream, this statement is false, right? This statement is 100% false. I watched like this is like back when it first happened. I watched like a 22-minute video of a body language expert breaking down Doc's emotions in the last 5 minutes of his stream. Yeah. Right. Did you see this video?
Yeah, I have to preface this by body language science is still not admissible in court, so we should.
But we're not going to court, right? But they can tell very, very accurately when people are lying. A lot of the tells of what's going on, and what kind of, not emotion, but what kind of like look and determination they have on their face, right? So that's fairly good, right? Yeah, man, it was just. You know,
you're talking about the part that he said that what actually was happening at that last part of the stream was like there was some other thing, not the thing that we thought about. It was just a huge coincidence that he had such a strong reaction to whatever.
Right? Yeah, it was something was going on in his personal life or the Twitch ban or whatever he had just got notification of, and that's what was going on, right? And honestly, I think that's what it is. I think he broke character and let the emotion take over. But this statement here, I have a very big issue with, and that is the lawyer-driven statement that I keep talking about, was that they don't know what's going on, because that is 100% false.
Right. So you're thinking that Twitch, at the very least, opened up the information floodgates to say, hey, this is what happened.
Absolutely.
Even if it's false or a false premise that Twitch is releasing it to him exclusively. So here's the thing I'm trying to rule out, right? If I'm just using deductive logic, but none of it can be deductive because it just doesn't make any sense. The sexual allegation thing, almost certainly, I would think, as a married man, is out the window, because there's no way that his wife would stick around.
It was years ago. It was years ago. But that happened. That happened. Does happen. No, that happened. Like him having an affair on his wife at a conference.
I'm not referring to that. What I'm saying is, if it's in line with him, some new allegation, something more insidious.
Oh, his wife wouldn't have released that statement.
Yeah,
I agree.
But Harvey Weinstein's wife, stuck around. So
money. That's a money thing. Doc has money, but not hundreds of millions of dollars of Weinstein money, right?
He doesn't have that type of money. Was like, your life will be ruined if you leave me type of money.
I bet you he's worth tens of millions of dollars.
I looked at his net worth one day. This might have been prior to it, and you never know those net worth things aren't really, but it was only at the 500,000 mark.
There's no way he owns. At net worth of 500,000, you don't own 2 Lamborghinis.
I mean, he could be leasing them.
Yeah, but even then, a lease for a Lamborghini is $5,000 a month. So that's $10,000 a month for a lease. Anyway, here, I mean, I had a train of thought that you ruined. Oh, no, there was no way. No, but I had a second train of thought that was going on. There was no way, as DrDisrespect, maybe the biggest streamer previously on Twitch, signed a multi-year exclusive contract with Twitch, multi-millions of dollars, guaranteed money. I would, if Ninja signed for 30 million, Doc signed for at least that much. I think he's a very good negotiator. There is no way that he doesn't have a rep inside of Twitch that would have provided him everything, an exit plan and what was going on with his contract and the reasoning as to why he was banned.
All right. So here's, I was thinking about that as well. And there's something called a freeze out. Right. And so let's say that he does have a rep. It would almost certainly go to the point where the rep was only funneled enough information
to allow him to stop. There's that for sure.
Yeah. His net worth is 3.5 million. It's been updated, by the way. 3.5.
I still think it's more than that.
Oh, I'm sure. But here's the crazy thing about this whole situation, right? So obviously Doc is getting ready to make his return to YouTube. We're gonna see how it just goes with him and his Champions Club and how that's going to go without any other added revenue. I'm sure he's still going to make a decent living. People are going to definitely tune into it's going to be
Did he announce that he was going to stream on YouTube?
He didn't announce it, but wait, where did I hear this?
I'm not sure. He uploaded the alleyway video to it.
I guess the speculation allegedly is that he'll be going to YouTube, and he can stream on YouTube, but he just won't be. Do they refer to their streamers as partners, or what's the deal?
Probably, but we know what. Because you could be a YouTube partner for sure. He has almost 2 million subs on YouTube, right?
Yeah,
2 million subs is a fine living.
He's gonna be just fine.
His merchandise is still up. You can still buy Doc clothing for $35 a t-shirt.
Hey, that sounds like a good price for cheap.
I'm down. Yeah, man. There's a lot going on with this that no one knows exactly what's happening, and it's interesting. There's someone as big as a figure as Doc. Like, I don't know, man. There has to be something fairly serious going on. Also, I fact checked myself. It's only $3,000 a month to rent a Lamborghini or lease a Lamborghini for 40 something months. So just as a side thought there. I'm sorry. I had to correct myself on that one.
But he's gonna be fine. He's gonna make a living, and you know what's gonna happen is typically what happens with these type of PR situations. Silence is great, and less is better. So the less we're talking about this, the better chances of it dying out are, and as long as no one breaches any non-disclosure agreements that are probably in play right now, then it'll be fine.
Yeah. Twitch enacted every single NDA that they possibly could have. There's no way they didn't. Right. Because at some point in a contract, if there's a dispute going on, they could say that the information going out on both sides is frozen. Right.
Well, here's the thing. So the stuff that got leaked to Slasher, they're doing it.
Well, again, Slasher is he's a good source, but not a great source.
So, but they're doing it. I guess Twitch is doing some type of internal investigation to find out how this. But that's again allegedly. That's the word on the street, that they're checking to see where the leak was in the situation, which makes this whole thing even weirder. It's like, dude, everyone that got caught up in some type of insidious sexual allegation that recently got let go and all that stuff, they just named it. That's why it's weird. Why wouldn't they just name it if that's what it was? Like, this is the era to name that stuff. It's like, hey, we're Twitch, and we found out DrDisrespect is a big old perv, and we kicked him and perma-banned him.
But they can't do that without a defamation suit. They have to have they have to have enough proof to be able to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, and then it can't be a defamation suit if I remember correctly.
So, and so I'm glad you said it, because you're making my point for me. That means if you let this man go based off of anything that could not be substantiated beyond the point of
reasonable doubt,
and that's those terms are more applicable. Those are specifically for court. But if it's A versus B, the word of A versus B, without downplaying the horrible things that can happen to any woman on a day-to-day basis, then that means that you're worried that the case isn't strong enough. So now we're just going to let it, we're going to kill this guy's career with silence. And that's what I'm against. That's the only thing I'm against. It's like, then this needs to, air it out in public, dude. Take it to court. If you really think this man did something that was so horrible that you have to strip him and his sponsors have to strip him, then he also needs to be prosecuted for whatever it is you think it is, allegedly. If it's that. We don't know if it's that for sure. That's just my view on it, though. Take it to court. You need to, if he harmed a woman, take it to court, dude. That needs to be turned over, right?
So but I'm sure at some point it will, if that's the case, right? Yeah. If that's the actual case, then I'm sure it will. But at the moment, if they have to do an investigation, that has to be tied up. They have to prove to themselves that, if they come out with this information, they're not going to be hit with a reverse lawsuit, which I have a feeling they're going to be. I have a feeing that I've already heard rumors that Doc is already trying to file a suit. It would probably, what is it? Damages for loss of wages or something.
Yeah, and he's well within his rights.
Absolutely. No, he's not within his rights if they paid him out for the remainder of his contract. Then they are not. Not within his rights to do so.
The only way, and I would have to check with my lawyer friends on this one. The only way is he would be within his right, even if they paid him out, if it endangers his ability to make a living beyond this point. Because even though you and I would be set up for $20 million for the rest of our life, if he's looking to pursue a career beyond the separation from the separation of Twitch, and they somehow impede that with false allegations, and again,
then there's a lawsuit for loss of wages, potential loss of wages, right? No, so I totally understand that, but me
actually be clear. If it was us, I'd take the 20 million. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm not suing you for any. That's it for me.
Well, no, but if you had a promising career and out of the blue it stopped, you're set to make more than 20 million, right? Because you're still getting the money from the subs. Right. Yeah. So your contract is say 20 million over 5 years, right? You're set to make all the money for the subs for the next 5 years, which is probably another 20 million. Let's be fair. I don't know how much. He was probably doing, I had 30,000 subs or something, we at probably $3.50 a sub. And that's just tier 1, not including the tier 3 subs or they're $25 a piece or whatever. And potential advertising for his own merchandise, brand endorsements, sponsored content, potential donations. Over the next 5 years, he's set to make maybe $100 million. Let's, I'm just numbers, right?
Yeah, okay.
And now he's only making 20. That's a fifth of what he could have made. So that, but if you, the difference between $20 million and $100 million is astronomical, right?
Oh yeah,
$20 million.
Taxes and all that stuff too. Yeah.
Right. You're right. $20 million doesn't say flat 20 after taxes. you're fine, right? You're set. I would retire, live off of 20 million for the rest of our lives, right? Yep. He lives in LA, he lives a certain life. So you have to take all these things into account. It's like the same way when you fucking make alimony, right? You have to uphold a lifestyle. You have to uphold an image, right? 50 Cent went through that with his bankruptcy filing. Why do you have all these pictures of money in your Instagram photos? Well, that's my image. I have to uphold my image. It's part of my brand, right? But $100 million sets his child is set for their life as well. Right. Yeah. That's the difference. He crosses the line to generational wealth. Without me knowing $20 million might cross that. I don't think it does. But definitely the kid's definitely going to have a way easier life than someone without $20 million. But
absolutely. I mean, I guess this conversation kind of steers away from Doc for a second, and just me talking now. So let's say he does make his return to YouTube. So then we're right back in it. Not that the conversation's ever ended. So now it's going to be Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Courage is doing a lot better over there. Actually doing a lot better over at YouTube now. His streams are looking comparatively a lot better. Doesn't compare to someone like a Nick Merckx, on his day-to-day. I don't know what his metrics
but also the number one viewed solo stream ever, I believe, is on YouTube, right?
Is it?
And I think 1.1 million views. It's 3 or 4 times the amount that Ninja had with Drake. And it was a non-English speaking guy. It was a guy from Spain, I think.
Really?
Yeah, actually, I don't remember the name, but I actually just read an article about this, and I forget the name. But the biggest streamers in the world are non-English speaking. They're Brazilians or Russians or something, like non-English speakers. So. And they're on YouTube mostly. It's a game or a platform that's more friendly, more wide known. The ceiling is higher on YouTube, and I've said that forever, right? You asked me at one point, hey, if I want to start streaming, where do I go? And I said YouTube. Right? Because the highest skill ceiling is there. Twitch has a cap, right? There's Twitch probably has a fifth the amount of people who view Twitch versus YouTube on a daily basis, right? So. It's if he were to make a return, YouTube's the best bet. I still think Ninja's going to YouTube. I've heard that rumor actually a few times from different people.
Well, he's streamed on YouTube a couple of times.
He has, but not in any official capacity, right?
Yeah.
I think he officially, because he has a huge YouTube channel, 20-something million subs. I think he officially goes to YouTube. But yeah, I just want to know what is actually going on behind the scenes. Dude, I could apply for a job at Twitch and find out, but no, there's no information going around behind doors at Twitch. Fucking Slash would have had that shit.
Can you imagine your first day on the job? You said,
all right, and this is why Doc was banned. I'm like, holy shit. All right, guys.
Hey, new guy, come over here for a second. We're going to tell you something about Doc.
You work here now? Doc's going to diddle you. It's like, oh my God, no.
Already in the elevator waiting for you.
That's awful. I'm so sorry.
What went wrong with the CDL? You tell me.
Okay, this is an awful transition. Awful transition, and I will not allow it to happen.
It's gonna happen.
I recently came back to watching competitive Call of Duty. I was a diehard fan. Way back in the day, watched every match, no matter what the team was. Dude, I remember the drama. I remember when Scumpy left Optic for 4 fucking days to join Envy after UMG Philly in Ghost, the same tournament that Big Timer retired at, and they lost it. They placed top 13, and Nade Shot was going high. I remember all of it, right? I was a huge fan back in the day. Right. I stopped watching the CDL. It has to be the game for me. I really dislike the game. I didn't like Infinite Warfare. I thought that game was awful. Actually, probably better than Modern Warfare, though. And I watched Champs. I watched everything for it. I can't stand the game. And the CDL, unfortunately, launched on the year of the potential worst Call of Duty of all time.
Oof. That's
where the CDL went wrong. I think the production is pretty good. They have the regular casters. Maven and Merc are there. Those guys are great. The production is fairly good, even though it's all online. So that's unfortunate with the COVID stuff. They can't play LAN events. Champs is going to be online. There's going to be a huge asterisk next to whoever wins this Call of Duty Champs. It's the CDL. The real issue was the Activision somehow fucking picked the wrong year to launch it. They would have launched it last year, dude. This would have been the biggest esport ever, because Black Ops 4 was such a fun game to watch. Now you have Modern Warfare, which is very boring to watch. It's even worse to play, and the CDL is struggling because of it.
It's amazing. I'm sorry, I just got this just came to me. It's amazing how many lay people love the game, though. You know, like I have
people pretend to like the game because it's what's out. People like Warzone. People like Warzone is different from Modern Warfare. Okay, right? I still think Warzone is worse than Blackout. It might be the worst BR ever made. I don't like the pacing of it. I don't like the fact that you can respawn in without any sort of negative effect to your team. Like, there's so many things I think are bad with Warzone. But you know, Scumpy got fined by the CDL for saying that he thought that on a whole separate thing, on the separate thing, not even related to the CDL. He said that he thought that Modern Warfare without Warzone is by far the worst Call of Duty ever made. They fined him for it, but I've held that thought since when? The beta? I played the beta for 1 day, and I was like, I think the game is garbage. So and as far as Call of Duty fans go, you know, you're not going to find a much bigger one than me. I've played every single game, thousands of hours, Master Prestige in every game I could possibly be in. I Master Prestige in Black Ops 4 before Christmas last year. Like, there's not a bigger fan of Call of Duty than well, there are, but there's not a bigger fan on this podcast of Call of Duty than me. And this game literally ruined shooters for me. You know, after I was done playing Modern Warfare, how long was it before I went back and played a shooter?
It's funny because when I first asked you about that, you actually we don't have to go there. But
go ahead, go ahead. You can go wherever. I'm an open book.
No, it was amazing to watch the descent of you and shooters when the new Call of Duty came out, because I remember you saying you're not liking it. At first, you kind of liked it, and you were like, they just need a few things they need to fix. And then it was the anticipation of them fixing these things. And then it's like the bitterness starts to build because no one's fixing the things they need to fix. And then other people are telling you how great the game is. And you're like, no, I'm trying to tell you the game is bad. This is not just my personal feeling. Like,
everyone has swung my way, by the way. Everyone comes full circle. I'm a good judge of character and game.
And then, we're playing Borderlands, so it starts to translate over. That's one of the reasons we're not a gaming channel anymore. Like, the Call of Duty stuff starts making it over into our thing. And then I remember pretty quickly after we beat Borderlands, you're just like, I'm not playing anymore shooters. Like,
I stopped playing Tarkov at the time too, and I was grinding Tarkov. I was playing Tarkov like 8 hours a day.
You definitely had fun playing the.
Like when we just recently played it.
Yeah,
man, I it's hard for me to consider The Division like an actual shooter, right? Gotcha. It's definitely not a first-person shooter because it's third person, and it's actually more of an MMO than anything. It really is, because you're running specific missions to get gear and level up. Like, it's very MMO-esque in that grind to get to the max level, right?
Right.
Sure, it's a shooter. I enjoy The Division. I do. I enjoy shooters, right? Let's be fair. I love shooters. I really, really do.
You started playing Tarkov before that, and you were like feeling that for a little while, and then you just kind of
Tarkov made a patch recently a few patches that I don't like. I thought they were very bad. They tweaked a lot of things to counter bots and real world trading and stuff, and it kind of just ruined the game for a lower level person who doesn't want to play 10, 12 hours a day.
Right.
So yeah.
God, could you imagine playing any? Oh, you can. I cannot imagine. I can't remember the last time I played a video game for 10 hours straight.
I think I played 10 hours of World of Warcraft today, to be fair.
Good God, man.
It's great, dude. So first character I've ever hit max level on, legitimately. I've boosted characters before, like paid to boost them through the actual WoW thing that you could pay to boost. No fucking real world trading. And this is the first character I've actually legitimately taken from level 1 to 120.
Okay.
In anticipation of the new expansion, this will probably be the character that I play through the new expansion.
I mean, I started off with the CDL. We were watching it together for a little bit, and then I just kind of felt like I was swimming in the deep end. Like, because as much as I was enjoying it, it was cool because of the initial drama, and I was like, well, I want to see how this thing is going to play out with Scump and this other guy, and then that died out.
God, that was awful drama. That wasn't even a good drama. Here's the crazy thing to me. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off because this is a CDL talk. This is my topic. Fuck you.
It's your time.
The top 2 teams, top 3 teams in the CDL don't play each other.
Right.
The Chicago Huntsmen versus the Atlanta Faces, the match everyone's wanted to see all year long, just happened like last weekend or the weekend before. And we're almost at champs, right? We're like a month or 2 away from champs. This is our first time they've played each other. The top 2 or 3 teams. In the old format where it was a tournament every month, twice a month, something like that. I think it was like every few weeks. Everyone played, right? The top amateur teams had a chance to get in. Everybody played. If you got matched up in a bad bracket and Huntsman had to play FaZe, the top 2 teams were, one of them's top 12, right? Like one of them's top 12 and they're out of the tournament, and maybe a Seattle Surge could sneak by first round and then play Atlanta or Huntsman or Empire, right? They could play these guys, in second way or second round or third round of the bracket. This doesn't happen anymore, right? Like these teams sometimes don't even there's teams that don't even play in the events on weekends now, and that format I think is really, really bad.
Okay.
I think every team needs to play every CDL weekend. It's either every weekend or every other weekend. I think every team needs to play. I know it's going to make bigger for homestands or whatever, but I think everybody needs to play.
It's crazy, man, because you talk about poor timing. You talk about poor timing, man. Like this with the COVID situation, I could not think of an industry or a situation that would be more impacted by it, right? Because not only you need the synergy from having the live audience there and having land there,
it's huge.
It's like you can't even get that. Like, of course, in the NBA, you want fans to be there, right? You want the fans to be there because that adds, but they don't need to actually.
Right, but okay, so I could see feeding off the fans in like the NBA. Yeah. But here's the thing. Me and you could go play basketball, and while it's at a different skill level, it's still playing basketball, right?
Yeah.
But playing online in a video game with latency and trying to figure out server hertz and stuff is way different than playing on pure zero latency gaming, right?
Yeah.
You've probably been to a LAN party back in the day, like years ago.
No, I've always heard about them. They looked scary, but intriguing.
But like you link all of your computers or your Xboxes together, and you guys all play on the same network with zero latency, and it's like the game reacts different, right? Because the thing that the motion that you make is instant. There's not that 3 milliseconds of lag that you have to compensate for. Even though you don't think you are, you definitely are compensating for the however long it takes for the button click to actually register, right? So there's not that. There's a lot of the guys don't think it's a true test of skill or testament to their skill that they're playing with latency. Some guys, like, the servers are so bad that people in Texas can't play against people in California because you're playing on a really bad connection. They're right next to each other, right? You could drive from one to the other, but playing against Chicago from LA is fine, but playing against Dallas to LA doesn't work for some reason. There's an issue with their servers there. Like there's so many different variables going into something. It's a $4 million prize pool. I think the top team makes $2 million, right? And if someone gets lagged out of a game, hit offline, right? Like their connection drops. One of the guy slacked, I think. A pole went down outside of his house. He has no internet. He was gonna play this weekend off of a hotspot because they weren't gonna get there to fix it until next week. Like there's too many variables.
Those words you just used, literally like a slow ping, just registered in my brain. I just thought about how miserable that must have been, dude.
Obviously you can't travel because of the COVID situation. We totally understand that. That's a way different scenario. But to me, like, I don't even know if they. I don't know what they do for it, but this COD Champs, which I also probably tune in for, gets an asterisk next to it for sure.
Yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks, but maybe I'll tune in for the Champs, and
I'll tune in for Champs for sure.
We'll see how that goes. Before we segue into anything else, I meant to ask you, have you been playing Halo 3?
I played a little bit of it. Oh my god, I had a famous tweet about this. Did you see my tweet? Yeah. You saw my tweet. You responded to my tweet. The game is so heavily favored towards controller that it's actually frustrating. It is legitimately. So the aim assist is super heavy in Halo, right? It is very heavy. Like I legitimately got a kill by, this is not the right controller. Let's get an actual Xbox controller, would be correctly representative. So like you track, right, side to side on your aim. Mike's gonna be awful. And I didn't track side to side. The guy was running left to right. I just shot, and the aim assist was so strong that it just kept on target. And it had to have been, he covered 30 feet, right, left to right. That doesn't happen with a mouse. Obviously, it's easier to aim, I think. So there's like, oh, but it's easier to aim with a mouse. But no, I literally didn't have to track the guy. I just shot and my bullets hit him. So that's where Halo is so much more heavily favored towards a controller. Dude, I should not be able to hop on a controller after not using it for 8 or 9 years and be able to be competitive, not dominate, but be competitive within the lobby. Right, I went from being on a mouse and keyboard getting 5 kills a SWAT or something, maybe not a SWAT. SWAT was easy. I got headshots on that. In a Slayer to having 15 kills. Right, I should not be able to do that with a controller. I've legitimately not used a controller for a shooter in 9 years.
Wait, you played COD when it came out on the beta on PlayStation,
but for what, 3 days? That was a year ago. That's not going to translate over to me playing Halo, which is a totally different game. I've never played it on a controller. I never had an Xbox, and I didn't even have friends who had Xbox. We had PlayStations, so I never played Halo before. And there's no way that I should be able to hop in and be competitive with a controller. It is just, it's not a thing that should happen. It's disgusting. Even
you're not interested in the campaign mode in that at all, are you?
It's a multiplayer game. I hear it's very good. And I won't take away from that, but I was never really a campaign guy. I think my last campaign for a shooter that I played was Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 3, something in there. It's like, you can imagine that's almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about that because I was thinking about playing it, but then I was like, nah, I'm playing Assassin's Creed. I'm actually going to take a break from playing anything with a weapon like that in it, and I'm just going to go deep into Greek mythology.
It sounds fun. I was going to buy it when it was on sale, but I think I bought a few other games.
So I'm gonna let you do the segue here since my last one was so horrible. But
you know what else is really horrible? The amount of cases of COVID that are rising in Florida. So Disney decided that it was a good idea to shut down their HQ over health concerns for their employees and visitors potentially. Yet kept the Florida park open amongst record-breaking COVID numbers.
What's your problem, you filthy communist, man? Don't you want people to go and be able to see Disney? Like to see Mickey?
I've been there. I've been to both parks in the U.S. I went to the one in Florida when I was...
California or Florida?
What?
Which one do you prefer, California or Florida?
I hate both of them. I was so young when I went to the one in Florida, I don't remember it. I have severe CTE, so I can't remember anything before like 6th grade. It gets worse every year. It's just awful.
It's just a void where there used to be love.
It's bad, dude. It's really bad. So I don't remember the one in Florida. We only went. I do specifically remember the fact that we only went to Disney because we were so young. I was 5. My sister was like 3. So we were really young. We went down there to visit my uncle. And then the one in California, I don't fucking care. I was never a fan of Disney ever. Really, I never was. I didn't care. So like all the stuff like going on around me, I'm like, okay, cool. This is an amusement park. Okay, cool. There's like okay food. I could buy alcohol. If I remember the one in California, I couldn't find alcohol to buy.
It's literally right at the entrance.
Oh, I never went back there. I went to. Oh, you know what was sick though? The little fucking Cars area at the one in California. That was sick. They recreated the entire town from Cars, which I thought was cool.
Beignets, that one New Orleans restaurant that they have in both Florida and California, amazing,
dude. That same night, it was a fun story. That same night, we went to Cheesecake Factory. First time I've ever been there. I'd never been to a Cheesecake Factory before.
Anderson Silver loves Cheesecake
Factory. It's very good. I thought it was very good as far as a chain restaurant goes. Right, chains and actual restaurants go in different categories for me. That's the night that I planned my trip to Boston when I was in California. That's the Disney night. That was a good day.
What'd you get at Cheesecake Factory?
I don't remember. It wasn't that memorable.
Next time you go there is one dish I'm going to say. Get the Cajun style pasta.
It might have been that, because that sounds exactly like something I would get.
That it was amazing. But at any rate, so they closed down the HQ. They're keeping the park open. They're keeping it open with some pretty hefty restrictions too, which is weird because I don't understand how it's going to be an enjoyable experience. Also, the consequences are weird. Did you heard about this whole you don't abide and you don't get your pictures thing?
Oh,
right?
You told me this, yes.
Yeah. You don't get your pictures on the ride if you don't socially distance. I just don't think that I don't even need to have this argument again. Wherever you fall on this, it's you, man. And we'll see, history will tell us who was correct when it comes to the mask versus no mask thing. But this is just one of those things, not just because of public safety. It's just not something I'm gonna be able to enjoy, right? Because I actually wouldn't mind going to the park when it's empty, but I don't want to go to the park when it's empty, and it's because of this, right?
I want to go to the park when it's empty because I fucking won the lottery and rented it out for the day. Right? Exactly. That's where I want to go, because that shit is sick. But
I want it to be about me being better than everyone.
Right, exactly. I want to be so rich that I can make the people stand outside and I can laugh at them for the day. That's what I want.
Walk past some kid and his dad, you're like, sorry, Timmy. If only your dad tried harder.
You walk in a leisure suit and with really bad shoes on, and you're like, oh, sorry, man, they closed the park for the day. They're like, ha, 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 not for me. And then you walk in with like twirling your mustache and have a cane you're tapping on the ground.
On my members only jacket. Yeah, this is a weird time because the place near us, the water resort place, I really don't want to dox this because it's too close for comfort. But that place is actually open. It's opening. Part? Yeah, there's a water park near us, dude.
I know where I know. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Resort area and stuff, and they're opening in with a socially distanced program. But because
we're in New York, we've gotten past the bad part of it, right? If we continue on with social distancing the way that I think we are, I think New York will be okay, right? Everything can't 100% be open. Everything can't be no mask everywhere because there's still going to be cases here and there. But I think New York is pretty. I don't think we've had a death in a while.
The last time I checked, it was 8 deaths.
Oh, but still, these people didn't matter.
Whoa!
Listen, Steve, we do know that the government actually spawned COVID to cull out the weak people in our population because we've got to make America great again, Steve.
Speaking of conspiracies, did you? I don't know if it's still up. I'll see if I can find it, but I'm gonna have to definitely use a private browser like Brave browser or something like that before I start Googling this stuff. There was another doctor from China that came out like, yeah, they covered it up just in case you people forgot this,
and they killed him.
I don't know if she's dead yet, but I do know that she spilled the tea in this regard, and she was just like, yeah, she didn't say that it was man-made to be weaponized, but they definitely withheld information on how bad it was and how early this whole thing had happened, and it might be a lot earlier.
Yeah, we think it's like beginning of 2018 or something potentially. Dude, there's a lot of crazy shit coming out of China right now. A lot of crazy stuff, and I don't know how much I'm willing to talk about it because of how much Google is in bed with China. You know, but
they support Huawei, right? Like they're like, no, we got to make sure they can.
Huawei's owned by the Chinese government.
Yeah, I've been trying to tell people that since that company came out. I'm like,
actually, you know what's crazy? The only major country to not ban Huawei yet is Canada. Good old Canadians, our brothers from the north.
Sacre-bleu.
That's
right?
French.
Don't they speak some type of French in Canada?
Montreal, where the French Canadians are.
That's all.
They're like, actually, most Canadians, from what I remember correctly, hate the French Canadians. Or vice versa.
Really?
Yeah. There's a whole like rivalry up there versus Canadians versus French Canadians.
Do you know what we talked about a while ago, and we're completely done with that other topic because now I just want to keep myself in a good mood because it's been really dark lately. NHL, NBA, NFL. These are all letters that string together to make organizations.
But there's one a really hard time right now.
But there's one team out of the NFL that's having a really, really hard team, and I meant to put that.
There's like 52 players in the NFL that have contracted COVID.
No. This is something different. This is something way different. I wish the Twilight Zone music was playing. I wish Mantis was standing behind me. Have you heard any of the stuff going on with the Chiefs?
Oh, the fact that they're changing their name?
No, the other stuff. That allegations are coming out that they've been using their cheerleaders to grease rich men.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have not heard about this, so you're not to fill me in because that's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah. I'll keep the dead air from existing. Go ahead and Google it. But so allegedly, what's happening is some cheerleaders for the is the name of it's the Chiefs, right? I can still say that, right?
So you're talking about the Chiefs or the Redskins?
Redskins, sorry. Redskins.
That's the Washington Redskins that are changing their name.
Yes.
Is it Kansas City Chiefs or something else?
Yeah, they're anyway. But so allegedly what's happening is that some of these cheerleaders for this football team are claiming that they've been used in a sexual trafficking type of way where they were drugged and or presented to wealthy men to perform sexual favors for whatever reason. And that in some instances they were flown around the country, around the world. And I think one claim is that like they kept them on a pretty steady diet of cocaine. Yeah, to do this.
Really?
To do this type. Yep. And it's you wonder so if this comes out, so the organization is probably going to be done. Like it's hard to come back from this unless everything's just completely. You have to John Kavanaugh this, right? Everyone has to be lying. And not even a John Kavanaugh situation, because that woman, the main accusation of his was pretty credible. Every one of these cheerleaders would have to be lying for this thing to go away.
So here's the issue with what you're saying. The NFL teams are so powerful that this won't phase it. This won't phase the Washington.
Listen. I hear what you're saying, brother. They also said the same thing about the Clippers owner. Everyone believed that nothing was going to come of that. No one believed that he was going to have to sell the team.
They forced him to sell the team, right?
Yeah, they and then I was talking to Cashman about this. It's not like he's selling his stock where he's going to lose it. They sell it at a diminished point.
No, he's making money on it.
Yeah, they're going to get the exact dollar value of the team, whatever it is.
Correct.
But this is crazy that this is happening because their biggest problem was whether or not they should change the name of the team last week, and they came to that's been a 20-year, 30-year debate since I was a kid. And then, by the way, we've been using our cheerleaders as beef jerky for disgusting old men.
Yeah, it's horrid, right? And not surprising, unfortunately, but this will not ruin an entire NFL franchise. I promise you that.
No, it won't ruin the franchise. I mean that the people, when I say the organization is done as it exists right now, like anyone that's that was involved in this, they're pretty much done. Unless they're so paid up and they have so much power where,
dude,
I don't know. I've been seeing things lately where it's like if you're rich enough, you can get away with almost anything.
Correct, right? And the NFL teams are that. So a very similar situation, I guess, happens, and this might prove you right, to the Carolina Panthers in 2017, where the league stepped in, hired a different law firm to take over, and the owner had to sell the team the next year. So, yeah, maybe. I just don't. I think some of these guys are so powerful. Who is the owner of the Washington Redskins? I'm curious. But dude, these guys are so crazy powerful. I wouldn't be surprised if nearly Dan Schneider if nearly every single team had something like this going on, willingly or unwillingly for the participants. But the guy who owns the Redskins is worth like $3 billion, dude. That guy's lawyered up and I don't know, man.
You definitely don't want people. There are certain forms of media platforms where no matter how they're designed to placate to the mass, you just don't want these type of things being handled on those media platforms. And the Today Show is something that most Americans watch. And the fact that you got two women reporting these allegations on the Today Show, that's a rough one, man. Like your PR agent,
they have to be so sure that should actually happen before that they report on something like that.
Yeah. But I figure I was surprised you didn't know about this. I was waiting.
No, I had not heard about it. I mean, to be fair, the NFL is probably the sports organization that I keep up with by far the least.
Yeah. It's crazy. I had a point with that, but my original point was, to our one fan that asked, I'm still going to watch hockey. I'm breaking down racial boundaries here, man. That's what we do at Talking with a Dad.
I love hockey, man. I don't think hockey's going to happen still.
I don't think so either, man.
I think training camp starts at the beginning of next month, with 24 teams supposed to be coming in. The scheduled start is August 1st. And they're supposed to be playing 6 games a day. They're going to be doing 3 because they're 2 hub cities, Toronto and fucking Montreal or Vancouver or some shit. What other stupid Canadian city? And they're going to be playing 3 games a day in each city. So I don't know.
And what's the major broadcaster for the NHL?
It depends on the team. So the Rangers, MSG has their own TV channel. So if they're home, they play on there. I don't know where it's going to be. I'm assuming it's going to be on Fox or something.
That's something I can watch on my ESPN Plus subscription.
I doubt it heavily. So I don't know. We're getting a new team next year too in the NHL. It's going to be the second expansion team in the last few years. We had the Golden Knights come in, who went to the Cup their first year. Seattle's getting a team. So we're going to be really, really curious on that. But
I'm going for it, man. I'm not giving up. If it's August 1st, it's August 1st, and I'm watching.
Oh, I'm watching. I'm watching so much fucking hockey. I'll figure out a way to watch it.
So you ever think about taking stuff down from our website, Zach? Is there anything on our website you would just say, wake up one day and be like, hey, to our 113 fans, formulate 114. When I find out which one of you detracted, I will find you. But would you ever just take some information down from the site?
What do you mean?
Like, would you take something down? Something that you like, at what point do you take something off your website that people rely on? Like, hey, this is the gaming, this is Talking with a Dad forum. Here's where you can find our schedule for uploads and our posts and podcasts. Would you just take that down one day randomly and then just say, hey, I'm going to put it back up, but I'm not going to maintain it after the 16th? Would you do something like that?
No, I don't know where this comes from. This is a very deep rooted thought here.
So I looked at one of your notes here, and it instantly, I don't like the word trigger, right?
Okay.
But that's the only emotion I can think of with the White House banned CDC from COVID info rerouting to private GOP run server.
This analogy that you just made was, I'm sorry, Stevie, I have to call you out on this. Was maybe potentially the worst. This is like me going, hey, Steve, behind the scenes, we're not going to do YouTube anymore. We're uploading this shit straight to Vimeo, and we're just going to kind of say something.
What was that word you just used?
Vimeo? So
the money app?
No. Vimeo is another platform. That's Venmo that you're thinking of. Vimeo is another platform that you can upload videos to. It's the only competitor to YouTube.
They still exist?
Correct, yeah.
How are they doing over there?
Awful, I assume. But this is like us switching. Not even. It's like us making our own website and rerouting it to that, right?
Don't we have our own website?
We do, but I can't just host videos on it. I don't have like a full hosting.
Plug the website real quick.
What's up?
Plug the website.
What website? Talkingwiththedad.com?
Yeah.
My homepage?
Hit it.
So, dude,
I've been really interested to hear your point of view on this, because I went to 3 different news outlets to make sure I was like, all right, let me see what the talking heads are talking about, and then I went to go see what the printed correspondents were saying about it. I realized something. I can no longer ingest mainstream media. Like, I got to do my own research on subjects from now on, because it's so heavily.
So what's just hilarious about this is that you thought I actually researched this topic. I read I read a headline and then copy and pasted it into the topic section.
You ever read up on this at all?
No. The point of me being on this show, Steve, is we have a nice fun conversation. I'm trying to be funny. I do care about a lot of the stuff that's going on, but not enough to actually research it.
Wait, do you do this shit to me often? Do you just throw things out there to see how I'm going to react?
Okay, so the Disney thing, I did not read about that. I literally heard someone mention it. The doc thing, I didn't read the full statement until we were on the show. The CDL, I did about 45 minutes worth of research. I watched FaZe versus Optic, FaZe versus Huntsman. Thought it was awful. Every single topic I ever give you is just a headline, and I like to riff off of it. Do I seem educated on a lot of this stuff?
I will give you the benefit of the doubt. You have a GED level education on a lot of the political stuff we talk about. Like you were able to hold your own in a dinner conversation easily.
Yeah, no, that's literally my life. I do enough to make it seem like I fit in, and then I'm gone.
You have like a timer. You're like 15 minutes. Gotta get out of here pretty soon.
No, because have you ever noticed if it's a topic that I don't really like, but I put it in here? How long do we talk about Disney closing the HQ? 45 seconds, minute and a half, and then we diverted down a path of which Disney park we like better, which I could talk about a little bit, and then we diverted into food. Did we not? Yeah. If you think about it, I've been grooming these conversations to be kind of funny the entire time.
You just reminded me of. You said food, and I had another thought. Then I realized that Cash bought me a Monster at work today. I didn't drink the Monster. I'm like, where is the Monster? I'm like, the Monster's in my car. That means I have a Monster for the ride tomorrow, and I feel really good about that.
Monster?
Yeah.
It's the first day in like months that I had 2 of these today. It was just like,
all right, listen,
I went to
task. Stay on task here, man.
Dude. Okay. So this is where we differ in the way that we like podcast. I like a podcast that's fun to listen to. You like a podcast that's fucking punctual and clinical, right? This is different. I could have talked about that Monster can for an hour.
I thought you were off that stuff, man.
It's the only caffeine I've had all week is 2 Monsters.
Are you not doing the G Fuel anymore?
I have some, but I haven't needed it.
What else are you doing?
I drink a lot of water.
Pilates? How many ounces are you up to a day?
I did 5 of these already today. This is number 6. It's an incalculable amount.
I don't think the mathematicians would agree with you. But I think it's actually quite easily quantified.
Okay, 48 times 5 plus 8. A bunch. Yeah, I drink a lot of water. I had a can of seltzer earlier, 2 cans of seltzer, black cherry seltzer.
I've had 48 ounces. My water intake has dipped a little bit because it's easier for me to stay hydrated when I'm at home because I'm able to do it. But you know where I work.
Just buy a gallon and bring it in with you. They're 99 cents.
Yeah, I don't drink that stuff. There's a reason that water's 99 cents.
Yeah, because it tastes like wet dog. That's fun.
Bring me my fresh toilet bowl water.
Speaking of wet dog, we found out that we have a new puppy, right? 5-6 months old, whatever Mac is. He likes to walk. This is hilarious. He likes to walk up next to you. He'll look at you and then just all of a sudden walk away. He farts next to people and leaves. It's some of the funniest things I've ever seen. I hit my sister the other day. It was amazing. It is one of the fucking funniest things I've ever seen.
Was she chewing at the time? Because that's the worst time to get a dog.
No, I think she's just sitting on the couch watching TV. It was like, oh, hey, Mac, what's up? And then walked up. I was like, oh, okay, gonna walk away. And I was like in the kitchen. Oh my God, what is that? The dog looks back. Like it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
I don't know if you noticed something, right? We've been having a pleasant conversation. Usually it's just 2 friends talking. We record it, we post it, and then people like, share, and subscribe, and we appreciate you for that.
Good plug.
But normally there's usually a background noise on my side of the audio. But you haven't even noticed that noise doesn't exist. Boom. Tonight, all 3 kids down to sleep before 9:45.
Wow. That's a first. Did you run them today? Did you let them go into the yard and run around?
No. So we just Santana managed to get the repeat culprit back on his schedule.
Oh, okay.
That guy, and then Gavin was supposed to come down and party with me tonight, but he fell asleep. So I pulled, I feel bad about it. I went to go wake him up.
He slinked out under him.
Yeah,
wow, that's a good dad right there.
But now that we've wrapped up the whole COVID GOP private server.
Oh, we actually never even touched on it, right? You made your really, really poor analogy. I'm sorry, I have to hit you with that again. And then never got into it because we had a little bit of an argument. I wanted to talk about the food that I got with that Monster today, but so
just what'd you get? Because now I'm gonna want to know.
So I got Jake's Wayback Burger, but I got a nice crispy buffalo chicken sandwich with a little jalapeno mayo and lettuce on top of it.
Next time you leave your house, would you mind dropping off that mic thing for me in my mailbox, dude? I check it every day to see if I'm going to be pleasantly surprised to see your video.
I have to go to I have to go to my dad's house soon, so I'll drop it off when I go, and I have a reason to go over that way for sure.
Yeah, drop the video card off too.
The video card that I'm using currently. Okay. Yeah. So that buffalo chicken sandwich I had today was fucking sublime. It was amazing.
Oof. That sounds amazing, man.
I've been down with the chicken Sammys recently.
Chicken Sammy's. That sounds like a club you don't want to go to. So here's the thing about this, man. So the long and short of it is, basically, CDC was pressured into no longer putting up the updates in regards to COVID numbers, all the data, all the comprehensive data which isn't just for public consumption. Medical providers use it. Everyone accesses the same pool.
Correct.
And they were pressured by Trump and the GOP to have to pull that down, and then there was a public outcry for that to return. So it went back up on the CDC website, and now but it's not going to continue past the 16th. So then it's done. At that point.
It is absolutely done. Trump's administration has now set up its own private server that they're going to be compiling the data in. I'm assuming it's on a fucking Dell Optiplex somewhere, a 330 at that.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's just going to be sitting on a hard drive, unattended until time.
You gave him way too much credit. I see a Chromebook with a Western Digital plugged into it, and it's going to be on a Facebook page. And it's just literally going to be misspelled data, like being posted every 15 minutes, because that's what's going to happen. But here's what's extremely dangerous about this. I am a registered independent, and I think it's important for me to quantify this.
Me too.
And say that
I can't vote in primaries. I am an absolute registered independent. Have been since I was 18.
But here's the thing. So this is I think this sets a dangerous precedent where it's like, if you don't see the writing on the wall, whether you're a Trump supporter or not, once people start controlling the flow, and not, I can't even say start controlling the flow of information, but this is not
stopping the flow of information is essentially what we should be calling it, because that's what it is. Exactly. They have now stopped the flow of information in regards to COVID purely because seemingly they wanted to I'm not sure. I don't know what they want to do. They want to make it seem like we're doing better, which is probably the wrong thing to do. Not probably, it is the wrong thing to do, right? We need accurate information so we could study that and make a decision going forward as to what the best course of action is, right? It's business analytics 101, right? No information in, no information out. Now, the information is being piped off to the side, and I'm assuming the world-class virologist Dr. Fauci is not going to be able to take a look at it, since they've been shunning him from the White House briefings for the last month or two.
And also running a secret smear campaign against him.
Correct. Yeah. The poor fucking man. Dude, we could say this ad nauseum, but I'm so done with this political administration that it's actually absurd. And the best part is that we're gonna have another 4 years of it, and I'd put money on that.
And here's the crazy thing: even if we didn't have another 4 years, you and I have talked about this privately, but we're not going to get into it again. I'm so done with the two-party system. I'm at wit's end with it, right? Because if you don't think that we got another batch of problems coming in if Trump is going out and Biden goes in, which should scare anyone, right? And I feel bad for Biden sometimes, dude, because it's like, you want to talk about someone being used as a figurehead and used as a political pawn. Like, people like to make light of his mental state. I think there's actually something cognitively going on with him. I really do think that he's obviously diminished in some way, shape, or form. He's a grandpa.
Sure, and he's old. He is old. They're all old. Every possible candidate is old. Here's the one thing that could happen, though, right? And this will go right along with your story. So the recent allegations that have come out, the tapings that have come out against Biden, really makes it easy for them to pull him out and put someone else in.
Yep.
Right. And now, as much as I'm afraid of that, there's only a few people that they could possibly do that with, and they all seem better than what we have currently. Right. There's a chance they will not do it with Bernie. Right. They will not do it with Elizabeth Warren, which I don't think she's a great candidate. They could do, what was the fucking no, I don't think she has a shot. Who was the mayor that was in the race? Buttigieg.
Oh,
yeah. Right. They could put Buttigieg in, and I don't think that's a bad idea. I think he's okay. He's young. I like that. But the big one that they could do, and I don't think he wants to do it, but I think he would, is Cuomo.
So it's interesting that you bring that up, man, because that's when I start telling people you need to really examine
who it is.
Yeah, policy versus personality, because Cuomo has a big personality, and obviously his points went way up by showing up every day and doing those briefings, right? Because it gets a posture of like, he's being active and he's actually being, fairly upfront. And there were people across the aisle who really, thought he did a great job at the situation. The hugest knock on him during the COVID response was the thing that happened with him sending the people, sick elderly people back into the nursing homes, and that potentially raising the that's not something that should be glossed over. I think if he does get put in, that's going to be like a really hot button topic that he's going to have to confront. But I agree with you. I agree that Biden is being set up to get moved out
for sure. That's what I think is happening.
I don't think he wins though, and we got 3 public debates, between him and Trump. And not public,
he doesn't win a debate. There is no way that he keeps his composure through any of the debates. He doesn't go without one of his famous Biden flubs where he starts rambling on about fucking leg hair. There's no chance that he gets through the debates. Right, exactly. Like, although I do believe that he could beat up Trump physically.
100%.
I don't think Trump could get out of his own way. He looks like a fucking minotaur that is like the front half of a minotaur without the rest of the horse behind him. That's how he looks like he stands. So you look like fucking dodge a little bit, guy falls over.
That was a beautiful representation because I just saw it like in my head.
Look, that's how you make analogies. I stole that from somewhere. I don't fucking think that was me.
Twice you've done it. Twice I've given you praise for something clever.
I turn it. Oh yeah, I turn it back on you. So listen, the political campaign coming up, which usually would have started by now, right? Would we have had our first debate by now?
That's a good question.
We're what? 5 months out? No, 4. We vote in November, right?
Yeah, November 6th.
We're 4 months out. No, maybe we wouldn't. Maybe August or September is when we start having our first debates because we're very close to. They also, another thing going on with the government is the fact that they're actually starting to actively slow down the postal service when a lot of people are going to have to vote through the mail. So, and again, coming straight from the current administration that's doing this, is actively sabotaging an election.
So strange because he's so worried about mail-in ballots.
He votes mail-in. That's the only way he's ever voted.
Yeah.
Is that what you were going to say?
No, I was going to say it's so strange that he's against mail-in ballots.
Right, he's not against absentee ballots, though.
Yeah, exactly, which is the same thing.
Again, I don't know where this is what topic from a little while ago, but I read the title. I read the headline and I'm like, that's all I need because that's hilarious.
Poor site. We're doomed, man. Actually, if anyone gets a chance, I think it was the last Joe Rogan episode where he had a pretty famous economist on there, and this guy, every time this guy comes on there, it's as scary as someone reading the Book of Revelation to me, right? Book of Revelation is the last book in the Bible, but this guy comes on
because I was about to Google it.
This guy comes on every time and he's like, this is the state that we're in, this is how much money we've spent, this is how much money we spent.
So this is crazy to me. When a Republican president is in, the national debt doesn't matter. But if, say, Biden does get elected, the first fucking week, there's going to be headlines and complaints about where the current national debt is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think Trump, my buddy told me the other day, Trump is trending to surpass or already has surpassed Obama in the amount that he's spending. But, there are some factors.
Oh, like overall for Obama's 8 years versus Trump's 3.5?
Yep.
That I actually don't. That doesn't shock me. I bet a lot. I don't know where a lot of it comes from, but I bet you a huge part of it was maybe some COVID response stuff. So you kind of get a pass for at least that stuff. What's crazy to me is how much Trump complained about Obama playing golf while he was in office, and he's golfed over the 8 years. Obama golfed 100 times, and Trump has golfed 200 times already.
Yeah, you got to golf, man.
Spending $133 million taxpayer dollars in just so we can golf.
How much time do we have left with Joe Rogan on YouTube?
September, I think.
Wow. So what do they do? Does his entire catalog come off the servers on YouTube?
I'm not sure.
What happens?
They would, you know what? The best way to do it is if the Rogan YouTube channel or the Clips channel, right? Because he has both of them. If they were to just make all of it's September 1st, by the way. If they were to make all of the videos just unlisted, so they're just essentially not public, but they're still there, because if it ever goes backwards, you know, it'll just be like, okay, you flip a switch and everything's back. Right. And then you continue to, and my guess would, and obviously I don't know Jamie personally, but my guess would be that Jamie still hosts a backup of the podcast on YouTube, but doesn't ever make it public. And then again, if say he's debuting on Spotify on September 1st and will become exclusive available later in the year, I think it's maybe December, they shut the YouTube channel down. It's still there. It still has the 10 million subscribers or whatever it has. And then you continue uploading all the stuff there. And then whenever it's back, right, say like it's only a 2-year contract, September 1st, 2022 comes up and he's no longer exclusive to Spotify. You go, there's all your content. You know, you flip a switch, all of your content's there. That would be my guess. Someone get me in front of the JRE board and I will make that proposal. If you want to hire me, I could do it.
You're hired. I'm not gonna read number 4 out loud. I can't do it.
No, that was a joke. So basically what it is that President Trump, something happened with Goya and they were boycotting Goya for some reason. I actually don't know the full extent of the story, obviously.
You want to know?
No, not really. And the Trump, both Ivanka and Donald Trump, I consider them one person, have come out with pictures of themselves with Goya products for whatever reason. I have not quite understood with that. They're trying to support the company, which is Goya. Goya is a U.S. company, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, dude. He's come out to support Goya Corporation before he's supporting the people of the U.S., and that should really lay heavy. Really should lay heavy with everybody. You know, think about where the true intentions and feelings from Trump of where they actually are, right? Because they're not for the U.S. people; they're for corporations and lining his friends and his own pocket with money. So
it's interesting. I was watching something the other day where this was for an election that happened in some remote farm town for a small position, local position, local government there, and we had a woman running in favor of local farmers, and she went around and she interviewed them, and she was running as an independent, and she's talking to the local farmers, and she's like, you know, what is the one thing you would expect of me as your public servant? And they're across the board. This is like middle America, Christian, Bible Belt, believing people, and they were like, if you can help us undo the decision we made by supporting Trump. And that resonated, dude. Like, to think that there are people who voted for him and they're like, this was a bad move.
Dude, I'm not talking about it like all over the place on the internet, man.
Yeah. Not just saying like with my ideology it was a bad move, but saying like this was fiscally a horrible move for me and my family. But we'll see how this whole thing plays out, man. But like November 6th is coming up. I can barely articulate it anymore because that's how much I actually will be taking a break from political talk here in a week or so when my wife's birthday comes up. Like I just gotta do it. Yeah, I won't be engaged.
Well, we'll engage with it here on Talking with a Dad. There's no wives involved in the show.
Yeah, no, we'll do it on here. But I will, for that week, I will. Other than you, I will not be engaging anyone in any debates about anything. I'm just gonna be like, hey, catch me next week, which is gonna be hard for the 18 people that stalk me on Facebook and like just wait to like confront me on everything I say. But do you care about the fights tomorrow?
Of course I do. I watch every single card.
Hey, you're a real fan. See, I was expecting a bad answer from you.
Yeah, dude. I really want to see Joseph Benavidez win. Right. I do thoroughly enjoy watching Benavidez fight. Seems like a very good guy. So I would like to see him win. There's another fucking amazing fight on this card of Kelvin Gastelum versus Jack Hermanson. I would love to watch Kelvin Gastelum get a knockout here. I really like watching Kelvin Gastelum fight because he comes to fucking fight every single time. It's the same reason why you like Masvidal on your TV, right? He comes to fight no matter how long his camp is. This is probably a different tune from when I spoke about him earlier in the week.
Roll a clip.
There are no clips to roll. Yeah, man. Absolutely.
I think it's going to be a great night of fights because you got a lot of up and comers on here, so it's going to be a very hungry fight. I got to admit, though, man, the last few weeks, minus Masvidal versus Usman, which played out exactly the way it was supposed to, I feel like the fighters have really been bringing it, man. Sometimes you can't really rely on the up and comers.
This last card was good.
Yeah, we can't. Was good. We get killed on ratings for UFC talk here. We respect it. We understand how you people feel about it, but this is gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a good
card. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's gonna be a card. It's ESPN Plus card. Any card I don't have to pay for is a good card. The following week we got fucking Whitaker versus Till. We'll go in detail about that because that's a fight, dude. That's a real fight because there's knockout power on both sides. But I think I have Whitaker on that one. That's a safe bet though.
And we get to see the heavyweight debut of your boy Alexander Gustafsson versus.
I don't know how many fights Gustafsson has in him, man. He loses this, I think he's done. Because I think he's lost 3 in a row then.
Yeah, and then we got to sit through Mauricio. We got to sit to Shogun Hua and Antonio Nogueira again. Now, I don't know if you've been watching MMA long enough to know that, like, this is something I don't want to see again. I think this is number 3 for these guys. I don't care anymore. These legacy fights have got to stop.
I'm fine with the legacy fights, dude. I'm fine with them. It's because everyone is so slow and bad that it's great. It makes it like it's an evenly matched fight. That card, actually, the July 25th card is a huge card.
Yeah,
there's a lot of fights on there. Carlos Esparza's fighting. The Brazilian Cowboy Alex Oliveira is fighting. That's a lot of great fights on there. Obviously, Verdum is fun to watch every time he fights. Gus is fun to watch every time he fights. Gus, in my opinion, is the best to do it to never have a title.
Yes, he's definitely up there. Number 3 light heavyweight of all time for sure.
Yeah, like, John DC Gus.
Yeah, that's the real conversation. And at one point, Rumble Johnson was in there, which bumped Gus down to number 4 because I hate to say this, Rumble's ascent to the top. It wasn't a cakewalk. I think the easiest fight he had was one of the Nogueira brothers. That was probably the one gimme he had. But his comeback trail from fighting Alexander, what's his name? What's this guy's name?
It's all you, buddy. It's all you.
I cannot remember. Russian dude, Pitbull. Anyway, forget that guy.
Oh, he fights for Bellator now?
No, not for Bellator. He's still in forget it. He's a Russian guy. Anthony Rumble Johnson fought him in the World Series of Fighting in heavyweight. Came back to the UFC, and that's when he started his tear, man. And I remember no one gave him a chance against Alexander Gustafsson, and he laced him. Got kicked in the groin, came back, knocked that man out. Not knocked him out, TKO. Okay. Beat him with strikes on the ground after knocking him down.
Are you talking about Andrei Arlovsky?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, okay. I had to fucking dig deep for that one because you said Alex. Or is Andrei Arlovsky's nickname Pitbull?
I don't know.
It is the Pitbull. Yeah. I didn't know that actually. I just knew him as Andrei Arlovsky.
So much information.
There's a lot floating around in there, huh? There's a lot of like, it's like me with fucking computers. There's just a lot of just bullshit. It all gets jumbled up in there. 100%.
Dude, I stop when I'm walking and I start going through MMA stats. And rest in peace to my good buddy Nitro. He was even worse with it. Like sometimes he would be talking to me and he's just like, yeah, so September 16th, May 4th, that's when this fight happened. What?
Yeah.
But anyway, Robert Whitaker versus Darren Till. I'm going Whitaker on this one.
Me too. Yeah, that's a safe bet for sure.
Safest bet, but I think it's gonna be a great
We'll talk
fight.
About that in depth leading up to that. Is that the fight? Is that right before? That's 25th, right? Yep. Yeah, we have a guest on that week, I believe. So far, we was just ancillary bookings. That is a fight fan, so we'll talk about it for sure.
We'll get deep into it. You got anything else for me, buddy? What do you got?
I don't have anything else other than I would like to request the people to make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification fucking button. Because subscribing isn't good enough anymore. You have to do 2 things, right? So you have to turn all the notifications on every time we upload, twice a week now. Tuesdays and Saturdays we upload podcast Talking with a Dad. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our website. All Talking with a Dad, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching.